Hello everyone, happy Thursday and welcome to day 4 of my launch for my Milehigh Mealprep ebook. And today we're going to be talking about the 3 telltale signs that you may have a food intolerance. And for those of you who don't know me, my name's Maddie. I'm an online personal trainer and I'm also a transformational nutrition coach. I help my clients form a sustainable fitness lifestyle through the use of my app-based training as well as my nutrition protocols. And I'm excited to be launching my Milehigh Mealprep ebook. It includes 25 recipes, so there's 25 pages of recipes. Those recipes are balanced and they are made for people who are on the go, who need quick, efficient recipes. And I put a lot of time and effort into this because I know that nutrition is all-encompassing, but the real change factor is education. And so I added a lot of educational tools into my ebook as well. So there's 20 pages of nutritional education. One of those things is a food intolerance page in there, but today I'm going to expand on that as well. So many of you may not know what food intolerances are, so that's what I'll be talking more in depth about today. And then the other thing that my Milehigh Mealprep ebook includes is a community. Community is really important when you're trying to change your nutrition pattern, and the community that I have set up is the Milehigh Mealprep group on Facebook, so you can join that right now for free. It does close, the open access closes next week on Monday, and that group also will each week have a live stream training, so something like this where I'm teaching you about nutrition and more in depth on nutrition, and it also will have me meal prepping inside that group as well out of the ebook. So if that's something that you're interested in being a part of, join through the link that's in the description above this video too. So let's talk about food intolerances. I honestly did not know a lot about food intolerances until I was diagnosed with one, so I thought it was really pertinent to be talking about that today. So if you're here, say hello, comment live if you're here live, and say hey if you're part of my replay crew. But a food intolerance is not like an allergy because they are kind of grouped together, but it's not like an allergy because allergies are more of an immune response and the food intolerance is not. So a food intolerance will aggravate your digestive system and it will cause you different signs and symptoms when it is trying to tell you that you're intolerant to the food. So the reason why food intolerances are not good for you and not good for you to have them for a prolonged period of time is because when you digest the food that you're intolerant to, for me, I have 3 intolerances. So let's say I have an intolerance to dairy, soy, and the combination of grains and potato. So let's just say if I was eating those things, what would happen after I consume them is that it's really going to wreak havoc on the intestines. And because your body is intolerant, what it does is it causes widespread inflammation in the gut. And over time, this is the key, over time it really can cause chronic inflammation. So your gut will start to inflame, it's all red, mad, unhappy, it's causing you symptoms, which we're going to talk about, and then it will ultimately, if you don't pay attention to it and you just are unaware of the intolerance, you can cause chronic disease in your body, which can be Crohn's disease, Hashimoto's thyroiditis, gut dysbiosis, IBS. Things like that can happen to you because you've been ignoring the food intolerance. And it may not be your fault, but this is why I'm here to tell you kind of what those signs and symptoms entail so that you can make that change if you need to, but also just be informed and know that the intolerances are huge in America, and 20% of people have a food intolerance, and a lot of people who are walking around with food intolerances and they don't know that they have them. Hey mom, thanks for joining in. I see that you must be on your lunch break because usually you're not on live stream. So the first telltale symptom or sign to look for is in your digestion. So that means that constitutes digestion. So you're consuming, like when you're eating, and then the digestion through the esophagus down into your stomach and your intestines. So that is all part of digestion. And so if you're having bloating, gas, abdominal pain, cramping, or you're having acid reflux or indigestion, as it may be called, then those are signs that there's a food that you're not tolerating correctly. So they're not normal. And that is a thing that can be really hurtful and harmful to you, is to think that these things are normal. Like, everybody has bloating and indigestion. That's just a normal thing. No, it's not normal. And we have to stop telling ourselves that these things are normal. It's not normal for your stomach to be just bloated out and hurting you every day. That is a sign that there's something in your diet, your nutrition, that you are either having an allergy to or intolerant to, because you can have a food allergy also and not realize it. Food allergies tend to be worse, though, than an intolerance. So that is how you check, like, indigestion. If you're getting any of those symptoms, and they usually happen about 2 hours after you ingest your intolerance. If you're getting any of those symptoms, then there's probably a food intolerance happening. So that's one thing that you can be aware of, is in your digestion. And it's not fun to talk about these things, but you've got to, what I would do is just talk to either a naturopath, which is what I prefer, or a doctor, but mostly naturopaths really want to cure you through nutrition and supplements that are natural, which are vitamins and minerals. So that's why I really like naturopaths and nutritionists, natural nutritionists. I guess they're called holistic nutritionists, because they don't try to cure you through a pill, which is what most people would probably give you, like Beano or something for gas. I don't know what it's called, but it's not normal to have the gas and the bloating and the acid reflux and the abdominal pain. It's just not normal. So that's the first telltale sign that you probably have a food intolerance. Hey Laura, how's it going? Thanks for joining in. Laura says a lot of gluten intolerances because if you carry the MTHFR, you're unable to metabolize. Yeah, I can't see the whole comment, Laura, but lots of people, like I said, there are different intolerances. So lots of people are intolerant to gluten as well. That's one of the most common intolerances. So the 8 most common intolerances are dairy, soy, grains, gluten, eggs. Eggs are not dairy. So luckily for me, I have a dairy intolerance, but I can eat eggs. Peanuts are another one, shellfish, and then starches, which are corn, potatoes. So those are some of the 8 most common intolerances, and gluten is a big one. I luckily am not intolerant to gluten, thankfully. So let's go on to talk about number 2, which is elimination. And this is something that many people don't talk about or think about or even look at, and it's not fun to talk about elimination, but you have to talk about that when we're talking about food intolerances, because one sign is to look at your poop. So if you are having constant diarrhea, or you're not eliminating enough where you're not going once a day at least, then there's probably something going on in the digestive tract. And it doesn't always mean it's a food intolerances, but poop, like looking at your poop and knowing your elimination well is very important. And it's something that most people don't talk about. I've always embraced like talking about that with my doctors, because I know it's such a huge part of a healthy gut. So pay attention to how you eliminate, because if you are having constant diarrhea, or constipation, you probably have something going on with the food that you're eating, and you're not absorbing the nutrients out of your food when you have food intolerances to the full capacity that you could be. So that's another little telltale sign that you could have a food intolerance. Oh, Laura, I feel so bad. You have all 8 intolerances. I'm so sorry. But see, the thing is that now you have that in your toolbox. You are aware of those intolerances. So now you're not bothering your gut anymore, and you're able to, make a change. And that's the big part, is that most people don't know that they have the intolerance, don't even realize that there are such things as food intolerances, so they can't make the change. So I'm just happy that you know that you have a food intolerance, because many of us don't know. And I myself had no idea that I had a food intolerance until my naturopath brought it up and said, maybe we should just test you for a food intolerance. And I said, yeah, of course, because in my mind I was thinking I don't have a food intolerance, but I guess it's just good to like X that off the list. and come to find out I have 3. And I'd been eating my intolerances every day for years and years, and it was no wonder I was having the reactions I was having. So, and the third reaction is the one that I'm going to tell you about. The third sign is what I was having. And I dealt with this telltale sign for a year before I was able to figure out what was going on. So the last one is skin irritations, rashes like eczema, hives, any kind of fungal rash, genetics, Laura, yes, genetics play a huge factor too. Sorry, that was like a tangent. I just saw your comment. But that's another thing. Thank you for reminding me of that. Genetics do play a big factor into your intolerances. So if you know your mom or your dad has an intolerance, or even your brother or something, that can be kind of a reminder that maybe you might be intolerant to that. For me, I realized that my brothers both had gut issues, but I just thought, oh, I don't have digestion or gut issues, but it makes sense, like, that I have an issue with my gut too and have those food intolerances now that I realize that genetics does play a big factor. So I have my 3, and I'm sure that maybe my mom may be intolerant or my brothers may be intolerant to similar things as me. So if you know that your parents or someone you're related to has a food intolerance, it's good to get checked for that food intolerance as well. So back to the rashes and the skin irritations of a telltale sign, because that's the last way that your body's going to really tell you that there's something going on inside. And so if you're having the digestion and elimination symptoms and you're not taking care of them, then it's going to start to show in your skin. And this is something that is very problematic over time, because I dealt with this exact symptom. So for 1 whole year, and I still even get rashes, I was dealing with all types of rashes along my arms, chest, back, eyes, neck, sometimes on my legs, and then itching in weird places where I shave and things. And this is because of my food intolerances. I was eating them every day, and when you start to sweat out your toxicity or your toxins, they start to come out of your sweat, porous glands and all that, then your food intolerances start to sweat out too. So that's why your skin starts to get irritated. And I didn't know what to associate my skin irritations to, because I had had surgery and I thought, oh, they left something in my shoulder and that's why I'm having these. And then it just never really got better, and it usually got worse when I drank beer. So that kind of was a sign for me. Well, when I drink, like, beer has two of my intolerances in it. Beer is usually made with potato and grains. So that's why I was having those reactions, those skin reactions, because you sweat out your alcohol, right? So then my skin was reacting. So if you are having skin irritations and you have no idea why you're having these, know that it may be that you're eating foods that you're intolerant to. So that's a huge way that your body will talk to you, is through digestion, elimination, and skin irritations, rashes, hives, whatever. And those usually come on either 24 hours after you eat your intolerance up to 48 hours. For me, the way that my body reacted was usually within 24 hours, and I would have a rash for 24 hours. So that's how I kind of realized maybe it is the food over time, that it's not my shoulder surgery. But all of us have like such complex lives, it's hard to tell what really is causing certain signs and symptoms. So it's always good to know for sure. And with intolerances, you actually can't know for sure. You can get a blood test and they can come back and tell you what you're intolerant to, which is what happened with me. But at the end of the day, you have to do an elimination diet to really know what you're intolerant to and what is causing you the symptoms. So that's really good to know too, is that it's not, your blood test won't be 100%. It's probably true that you have an intolerance, but at the end of the day, the only way to really know is through an elimination diet, which you have to do yourself, and you basically cut out everything. It's not fun, and I think you do it for 30 days, and then you start to add in different things, and then you test yourself. You watch your digestion and your elimination and see if you get rashes or any type of signs or symptoms that you normally get when you were eating those foods. And if you don't, then you're not intolerant. So I actually did this within the first week of me getting off my intolerances. I X'd all my intolerances out, and then one day I tried some soy just to see, and very next day I had a rash. So that's how the elimination diet works, is you eliminate it for so many days, and then you add it back in, and then you wait and see if it causes a reaction. So those are the ways to know for sure if you have a food intolerance. Laura says, I didn't think of that for skin irritations coming out of sweat. Yep. It's a big one, and that's how my body really reacts to intolerances, honestly. I never thought I had really bad digestion. Sometimes I would get acid reflux from drinking beer, and I would get bloating, which, again, over time when you bloat so often, you just think it's normal, but your skin irritations, that was a big thing for me. I was like, I never get rashes or anything like that. I actually have a really good skin. So when I was breaking out with these rashes, it was really making me wonder, like, what is going on in my body? So make sure to pay attention to your skin, because your skin is really good at telling you that there may be something in your body that's not right, because the sweat comes out and it's pouring out of those glands the toxins that aren't good for you. And that is all I have. Those are the 3, you guys. So thanks for joining in and saying, hey, thanks for commenting. Laura, I really enjoyed talking with you on here, because I know that you really do pay attention to your nutrition, and I love the things that you post about allergies and intolerances too. So thank you guys for joining in. Again, my Milehigh Meal Prep ebook has launched. Tomorrow will be the last day of the launch, so this is day 4, and I'll be back again tomorrow. We're going to be meal prepping some snacks, and I'll be back at noon, just like normal. And don't forget to join my Milehigh Meal Prep ebook group, and the link's up in the bio. And if you are interested in purchasing my ebook, the link's also in the bio as well. But I'm really excited to have this ebook. It took me a few months to do, and I'm just loving that I can give you guys that educational piece that really helps change people's ways. So have a great Thursday, you guys, or we also like to call it Friday Eve. But I hope you guys enjoy your day, and I'll be back tomorrow.